What's up guys? Today I want to do a quick video and really spark a conversation about how do we enjoy what we have in 2023 and still feel like we have enough. And I feel like, maybe 40 years ago, the saying was, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. And that really meant the context of keeping up with your local community or your neighborhood. And now in 2023, it's really about keeping up with the Kardashians or keeping up with Instagram or TikTok and social media and all those things. And it's really changed the landscape in terms of how things are marketed versus how they used to be marketed in the traditional sense. And now it's like that sneaky lifestyle creep that companies are sort of telling us that we need to have the next best new shiny thing by gifting things to, the influencers. So it's just kind of interesting because luxury fashion used to feel very almost unattainable for most people. And now it's really feeling like fast fashion in some ways, like all these collaborations, for instance, like, the Fendace, Tiffany by Fendi, Tiffany by Nike, Gucci by Adidas, Gucci by Balenciaga, limited editions, 25th anniversaries, like get it now. It's like this nonstop in your face, like go buy it now before it's sold out mentality. No wonder we have such a hard time enjoying what we have because we are always after the next best thing. And, I feel like even for me, I really learned to stop saying, okay, this is gonna be my last bag. Because I've realized I'm never gonna reach purse piece, and there's always gonna be something that comes along that I will love. Whether or not I buy it will be a different story, but that's kind of like what I'm talking about, which is, when is it enough? And when can we just stop and smell the roses and really enjoy what we have? And for me, knowing that there's always going to be another beautiful bag around the corner at some point, for me, I really just have to sit with those feelings because whether it be days or months or years, it just needs to that intense feeling of love or lust, whatever it is, of wanting. I really have to let that simmer and make that decision later on before I can pull the trigger. We've been buying online more and more, and so the instant gratification of just buying in store got replaced by the anticipation of, oh my God, a package is coming. You're tracking it like a lunatic. You're tracking every point in which that package comes and goes until it hits your doorstep, and you get that dopamine hit. It's like Christmas morning, except it's every day. And when you don't have a package coming in the mail, it's kind of like you get bored or unhappy, or you're triggered to then scroll mindlessly for the next best thing. And I just find it really interesting because Jessie Style is someone who has been really honest about her shopping addiction. And, I find it really brave to open up on the internet like that because, there's so much hate that can come with it. But she's been really honest about how difficult it's been for her. But I don't think she's alone. And I think that's so many people, especially in such a consumer-driven world. And social media does not help. So even for me, I feel like I'm at a crossroads with my channel. I really wanted to give up so many times, even though I haven't been online for that long, because I really question my content. I can carry on and give into the formula of YouTube that generally works, which is, pump out the unboxing videos, pump out the hauls, and showing you all the new shiny things. And that formula might work because you might get the views and you might get the subscribers and that sort of thing. And that part is tempting because you want to be successful on YouTube or whatever it might be, right? But the other side of it is I can remain true to myself and risk losing existing subscribers or have much lower view counts or whatever it might be, and make videos that are truly authentic to who I am, which is I don't want to be an ambassador online for overconsumption. And for me, there's a fine line, and it's difficult to be able to show you things that I love, but I also feel like I'm not promoting overconsumption. And I think that's what's really hard for me personally. I also recognize the other side of it, which is I'm not a minimalist. I consume things in the regular sense. But I do try to be mindful of what I'm buying and really assessing if I'm really in love with that thing. I follow like a lot of minimalist channels, and one of the channels that I follow is Christina Micas, but I'll link her below. And one of my favorite things that she says is, if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. So like that's kind of the mantra that I use too. If it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. And I put it away and I don't buy it, and I put it out of my mind. And I'll always be a consumer buying some things that speak to me, really just without being wasteful, without being flippant about buying, even if it is a $5 lipstick. Like, I don't want to buy a $5 lipstick and just be like, well, it's just $5. I don't want to buy it. Like, I need to love it. And it's got to serve me in some way. You know, I research the hell out of things before I buy things, especially with handbags because they're a high price point. But I also have researched the hell out of different mascara and things like that. And that's where I see a lot of value in YouTube and reviews and really understanding how people's lifestyles and their perspectives and opinions and things like that, weigh into whether or not I decide to buy something. I say all of this on the heels of having ordered a off-the-hook, beautiful Alexander McQueen bag that I will show you in a later video. I don't have it yet, but it's en route. So, it might sound like I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth, but I'm really speaking generally. And I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still have buyer's remorse on certain things. And when I do, I get really mad at myself about it. So, it's all a process. And again, just to reiterate, I do love talking about handbags. I do love talking about fashion. I'm never going to be the person who's reporting on the latest trends because my shopping intentions are very specific. I'm not looking to buy the essentials of what someone else is telling me to buy because they think it's an essential. There's a lot of people who say, you really should have this. This is a must in your collection. You can't live without this, But instead I'm buying things that are much more specific to my personal style, my personal needs, my personal lifestyle, and also what's gonna last me many, many years. When I buy something, it has to complement my wardrobe, whether it be a handbag or a clothing piece, and also be something special and unique that really enhances what I have. And that's what I try to do when I'm shopping. Listen, I'm in my mid-40s. It's been a lot of trial and error, and there's been a lot of mistakes that have been made along the way, but that's how we all sort of evolve. But my point really being is that I'm not gonna buy a handbag because it's the hottest bag right now. It's trending, everyone's getting it. I have FOMO. That's not how I like to shop because I know I'm gonna regret it. So for me, it's really important to talk about all the beautiful things and all the handbags that I love, but also incorporating, how can we enjoy what we have? How can we lower our cost per wear on certain things, whether it be a handbag, whether it be a clothing piece? And that's why I did that lower our cost per wear video on the classic Chanel flat bag, because it is so much money that we really should be getting our cost per wear down. So I'll link that video up here in case you haven't seen it. But those are the videos I love doing as well, because it's not about like buying exactly what that person that you saw online have, but it's just like inspiration. It gives you ideas to do things and twist it into your own way and make it yours. And that to me is fun. And in some ways, it's like kind of taking the power back from the mainstream influencers and really giving that power back to yourself and thinking about following what's right for you. I just mean like, let's kind of be more inspired rather than just buy. Anyway, what I'm saying is, for me, it's important to look back at my YouTube videos and be able to say I wasn't a promoter of overconsumption, of mindless shopping, of, wastefulness, because that's really what bothers me the most. So that's what I'm trying to clarify. Like, I have no problem with the idea of spending money. We all do it. Shopping and buying the things that we love is what makes the world go round, makes the economy work. It's what moves our society in some ways. There's this concept called Swedish death cleaning, and it's such a morbid name, but it's this idea of once you reach middle age, you start to clean out all the things that you've accumulated in your lifetime. And the idea is really so you're not passing that burden onto your family members where they're cleaning out your stuff for you after you pass. For me, it really hit home because I lost my dad a year ago. And it was a long process because he had cancer, but it was a realization for me. Me and my sister were going through my parents' house while he was in hospice, and we basically had to move my mom out of the house and get the house on the market. We just found ourselves buried in 80 years worth of stuff, of just a lifetime of things. And it's not abnormal. Of course, it makes sense. You have all these things that you've accumulated throughout your lifetime. Never mind the clothes. It was going through all the books, going through the basement, going through the garage. It was just so much stuff, so overwhelming. And I just remember thinking to myself where I was like, I am never gonna do this to my family. And of course, nothing was intentionally done from my father, but I was so aware suddenly of all the stuff in my life. And I don't ever want to burden my family with that. Yes, I've got handbags. I just think about when I pass one day, bury me with a few of my favorite handbags, give the rest to my daughter and my nieces, and pass those down. And they can keep, whatever favorite pieces of clothing that they might have, but donate the rest, and that's all I have. How many times have we caught ourselves going to Target? You have an intention to just buy a bottle of shampoo, and you come out with a trolley of $700 worth of things, and you're just it just happens, right? And it happens to all of us. And I don't want to accumulate crap. I don't want to accumulate things that don't mean anything to me, and I want to enjoy and use the things that I have and love. So how can we enjoy things in 2023 and still feel like we have enough? Well, no one tells us this, but it is very possible to admire something from afar. You can love, enjoy, appreciate its beauty. How many times have we passed something and been like, oh, that is so cute, I have to get it. You don't have to get it. You can just admire its beauty. It's kind of like the whole concept of the Marie Kondo thing, thank you for bringing me joy, except it's for from a decluttering perspective, except this is more of it is so beautiful, and appreciate its beauty. And it's almost like saying, thank you for bringing me joy in this moment. And then just keep it moving. Keep moving. Move on. Mentally move on. And that's a really good segue into what I was saying before, which is if that feeling still lingers and stays with you the next day, and you've really thought it through about the practicality of something, and you've really thought things through a little bit more rationally and logically, it's okay to get that item. I would say don't settle for getting a dupe of that, or don't settle for getting something similar to that really doesn't hit the mark or scratch that itch, because you're just going to end up getting that original thing that you wanted, and now you've spent the money twice. So it really just makes sense to keep your eye on the prize if it's something that you really want, so that when you do get it, whatever timing that is for you, you can really enjoy it and you can really get use out of it, because it is the original thing that you really, really wanted. And the other great way to enjoy what you have is, of course, to shop your own closet. And I think we all know this, but we don't all do this. And especially when we find ourselves out shopping, we forget what we have. And so what I do is I take pictures of my handbags, almost like a family picture of all my handbags, so I have it in one photo. And I also take really quick snapshots of just my closet in general, because it really triggers my memory of what I have and what I don't have. So if I see, a gray sweater or whatever it is, I'm like, do I have something like that? I can just quickly look at that one, snapshot, and that will trigger a memory of, actually, I do have something very similar and it's right there. But that's how you can really enjoy what you have, because you remember what you have. And similarly, when you feel like you have too many things, whether it be clothes or handbags, and so often, how many times have we walked into our closets and we're like, I have nothing to wear? Meanwhile, you have a sea of clothing in front of you, but you still have that feeling of like, I just have nothing to wear. And it's because of a number of reasons. It's because you're not inspired, but also because there's just too much choice. And when you have too many choices, it's like you get this decision fatigue and you're unable to make any decisions. So what I like to do to enjoy what I have is just pick one item and challenge yourself to style it and wear it that entire week. That goes back to that Chanel video of how to style the Chanel Classic Flap in different casual ways. Don't save your pieces for special occasions, because sometimes you'll never find that perfect occasion to wear that item. And most normal people live very mundane lives. And that brings me to my other point, which is, use your things and take your bags out and give yourself permission to use certain things that you love. I know some of us become so afraid of using our things because we don't want to damage it. And it sounds so simple and silly, but take care of your things, but still give yourself permission to wear them and enjoy them. And that simple thing can really just do the trick to actually get more enjoyment and use out of what you have. There's so many other ways to enjoy what we have that, this video can go on and on and on. And maybe I'll do like a part 2 or something like that. But for now, I really just wanted to start the conversation. Shopping can be such a slippery slope for some of us, and I really want to be conscious of that. And I really want to get out of this space of constantly wanting, constantly looking and searching. I don't know, do you enjoy what you have? Or are you always constantly looking for the next hot item? Or are you on a path to change your mindset about constantly wanting things? So I feel like this is an interesting conversation. I'd love to know where your heads are at on this topic. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, then maybe consider binge watching some of my other videos. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.